Hey everyone, Caldari Jones here. For this clip, I want to talk us through Tesseras, which are the rogue drone battlecruisers. This is a 50% room, and there are 3 strike grips in this spawn, so it's actually it's going to be a higher DPS spawn than Tesseras normally are. 1, because they're firing in our resist hull, and 2, because they have a little bit increased range with only 50%. If this was a 70% spawn, really there would be not much to talk about. But it is 50%, and you'll actually see me get complacent. And when I'm talking about you just need to move and react to what's happening to your tank, you're going to see what happens when you don't do that and you fall behind. We're still going to be okay, but I wanted to share this clip to show you that I don't play everything perfectly, and there is some room for mistake in this setup. So yeah, really what I want to do here is I'm going to go loot. Again, it's 50%, so even just doing this here is dangerous, because once these Tesseras set up on you, and if they're flying at their optimals and not MWDing around, that means they're in range and can apply damage to you. Remember that for our purposes, Tesseras essentially have perfect tracking, so if they're in range, they're going to hurt you. And you can see here, I just went to 50% armor, and I'm still twiddling with my manual speed here, just trying to do a normal strategy, which is, I'm just going to let them just slightly fall behind me to let my smart bombs do work. But then I take a wrecking, which, we can definitely take a few wreckings from full. But if you're sitting at half armor, there's no reason I should not be heating my tank here and immediately moving. And again, that's just complacency. So pay attention to what's going on. I let them get a string of decent hits and then the wrecking, and that's why I dipped here. Yeah, normally I'm going to set a low manual speed similar to how we fight Karen. I'm going to orbit the gate to make sure that these Tesseras are staying within smart bomb range, because you can get a lot of value out of the smart bombs. You can see some of them, even though I've already moved around, are at half shields. And then, yeah, by the time you're killing the last Tesseras in a pack, they're probably already in armor. Same deal as before, though, even with a couple Mystic ramps here, and then you see me resetting a cult because I haven't lowered my speed. I just did it right there. We're still going to be fine on time. This room does end up being slower, whereas, if I was just paying attention and reacting to the damage that would have come in, I really could have stayed where I was at and just been able to apply more damage and rather than run away. I opened up my resist there because I like taking a snapshot of what my resists are, so I can go back through these clips and say, hey, I've got this much kinetic resist, and that's what it looked like to take a wrecking from them. Again, if you have a reactive armor hardener here, by the time you're this far into the spawn, you really want to be paring the spawn down to a single damage type. So here I would have probably gone striking into blast grip into ember grip. At this point though, the spawn is pretty much over. You can see as we start swapping to these final Tesseras, they are in armor. If there are frigate support craft with these Tesseras at the start of the room, if they have webs, really those webs are going to die to smart bombs by the time the room really gets started. If there are reppers on the field, you will use Mezzan or Mystic to kill those reppers, just so you're not adding time to each of these Tesseras. Plus, if you have the plate forgers, they like to float outside of Mezzan range, which can be just annoying to deal with. As far as our tracking disruptor goes, you're just going to put the optimal range script on the biggest threat in the room, and then probably while you're killing it, just to help reduce damage and also to ensure that it's staying within your occult range. Last, you can see it with a bunch of these clips. I'm sitting on a lot of opportunity to use overheat. I mean, it's a resource like anything else, so definitely, overheat your gun. You can even overheat the smart bombs if you want. You can get value out of overheating that tracking disruptor, and then obviously the tank. But yeah, fairly straightforward room. If you've been keeping up with these room guides that I'm posting, you're probably starting to see a theme in how it all goes. A fairly chill setup, and then you'll occasionally have some situations where you have to turn the brain back on and respond to what's going on.